What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to discuss why I believe a new Crash game is being announced this year. Now, this is nothing necessarily new. We've actually been talking a lot over the past couple months. You know, the rumored / possibly fake Crash Bandicoot Worlds. If they're going to continue doing remakes over doing a brand new game. We've had this kind of discussion, but now we've gotten, some official statements. So during Activision's Q4 financial results, Bobby Kotick, who's obviously their CEO, announced a number of remastered and reimagined titles. He expanded further by adding, stay tuned for some future announcements, but beyond pure remasters, there are a lot of opportunities now to innovate and think about totally new content within these IPs. So a big part of this earnings call was basically talking about the remaster successes that they've had, as well as the remake success. So here's the deal. Here's where I ultimately stand with this. To be honest with you, his statements mean two things, possibly both, but at least one. We could be getting another Crash remake, whether it be Crash Bash, which would be my personal go-to and the one that I will not accept if there's any other one but Crash Bash. I refuse. Needs to be Crash Bash, or a brand new Crash title. Now, okay, am I jumping the gun? Does it have to mean Crash? No. A lot of the articles being written about his earnings call, about what he said, they all kind of refer to Crash, but it's Activision. It's not just Crash, obviously. Just over the past little while, they've had numerous remakes, / remasters. They just had the Warcraft 3 debacle, right? So I get it. It's more than just Crash, but you look at what they've done. It's really the only one that they've done two of, right? So they had Team Race, or they had Insane Trilogy first, then they had Team Racing. So we've talked about it so much. They've had the pulse test. They've seen that people still want these games. It's very clear that these games sell. It's very clear that people want more of these games. And the rumors had been swirling that there'd be a new one. Now, no, and I understand if anybody would, put this in the comments. I saw the rumors of the actual leaked of the kind of the infinite running Crash game, where it's kind of like Tower Run or Temple Run or whatever it's called, and you just play as Crash. I saw that. Oh boy, they're going to mess up that one. But, so I'm not counting that, right? I still do think a Crash Bandicoot Worlds-ish game is real. At the very least, if we don't get that, I think we would get something about another remake. Again, it doesn't have to mean Crash, and I get we had the Team Racing last year, and they've been operating on like an every 2-year cycle, but especially because, again, I've talked about this so much, and this is it's not going to like prove if you can trust me or not, but so many times over literally hundreds of videos over the past couple months, over the last even year, I've routinely said things about next gen. I've kind of laid down my predictions for what's coming with next gen. And another thing that I've kind of said before, but I do want to say again here that I think should be noted, is with next gen, I think the strategy of some of these publishers are going to change. Some of them have definitely gotten into we know Sony, Microsoft, Nintendo, the first-party ones, they generally announce their game, but they don't come out for a while, right? Because you got to get people invested in the product, and you have to make sure people know that it's coming. Some developers like to wait. Warner Bros. Is a really good example. Even Ubisoft, to some degree, where they announce their game, and then it comes out very, very shortly after that happens. Even Take-Two with games like Red Dead, GTA, stuff like that. They like to do that. Crash, or Activision in general, with Crash, at least what they've done with Crash, they've kind of stuck to that as well, right? They announce it. They've announced both, or at least around the Game Awards, and then they release that June. So they don't have that much time in between the announcement and then when the game actually comes out. They do not wait all that long. But I honestly feel like this would be different. I really don't see a Crash game releasing in 2020. If that's the case, that's amazing, but I don't know if that's generally the plan. If it does, then it would be in the fall. I don't think it would be this June. I think it would be in the fall, and it would be that cross-gen new Crash game, like brand new from the ground up. It's not a remake. It's not nothing. And then maybe we continue. Maybe next year, maybe next June, we get a Crash Bash or whatever remake. But I truly think the next one, again, I will die on the hill of wanting a Crash Bash game again, but I think some elements of it hopefully could make it into the new Crash game, but I really do feel like now is the time that you have a next generation, or a brand new Crash, but it makes so much sense because of next generation. Again, it doesn't even have to release this fall. It could release next year, but my point is because of next gen, this PS5 reveal, even if they do anything on Microsoft stage or whatever, they do their own thing, you're gonna, I feel like, hear more about these games where normally you probably wouldn't hear about this Crash game until 4, 5, 6 months before it releases. But because of just the surrounding environment that it's in, I feel like we're gonna get the announcement sooner than we normally would. So I really do think we could hear about it by E3 at the latest. So sometime around now, between now and E3, I think we hear about the next Crash game. Again, like the earnings call was talking about a lot. And I'm sure we're going to get a whole lot of different things that they're going to do. I'm sure they'll do more remakes. Maybe they even go back and do some of the Call of Duties. They obviously did Call of Duty 4, but there's a lot more they could possibly do, and I wouldn't put it by them to do it. But specifically with Crash, again, he's not talking only about it, but it's been such a huge success for them. It didn't kick off remakes in general, but it definitely set the bar where it's like, okay, it can work, and you can use it to test out if they like old games, and like this is how you do it. I mean, the Insane Trilogy really did start like a revolution in a way, but started a movement of doing those kind of things. So the Crash itself, very, very special to that. So I feel like he is talking about it. I feel like he's talking about it again with both. I feel like their general plan is probably like, well, hey, why not? These games sell so well. Why not remake another one? Because it's going to keep, people aren't not buying it. They're going to keep buying it. And then also, we'll give them a brand new one. And honestly, based off what he said in the earnings call, it sounds like just that, right? We're going to keep doing remasters. We're going to keep doing remakes. Like, we're going to keep, not redoing, but like bringing back and like respecting old properties. And then at the same time, we're also going to give you, there's also, and the way he says it, kind of like the businessy fashion, but basically, honestly, I feel like what he's saying is, one, there's room to make new ideas that we can come up with for these games, right? And two, you guys have proven as consumers that you want Crash, that you'll buy it, and now we feel like it's time that we can not only give you the same game again, but just like looking better and playing better and all that, which is not, I said that maybe is a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. Again, I will take a Crash Bash. I've bought in the Insane Trilogy and Team Racing day one. That's completely fine. But we're at a point where like we'll keep buying those. I'll buy a Crash Bash remake and a new Crash. People that like Crash, I think, are gonna buy like anything Crash related. Now, if you put out a game like every month or two, or if you run it into the ground with this Temple Run thing, and that becomes like a new benchmark for you, and you start milking that, like they can mess it up, and I wouldn't put it past them to mess it up. But there are a lot of positive signs there, so I think it's very likely. I think within the next year and a half, maybe by the fall of 2021. I wouldn't put it past them to have both a brand new Crash have been released by then, and also another Crash game be remade. And I honestly think the first of those two that'll happen, whichever it is, which again, I'm going to put my money on, it'll be a brand new game. I think that gets announced between now and E3. I don't think it's going to happen really, really soon, because again, he said like over the next little while. So I think it is more of like a closer to E3 thing, or not even E3, just when we get next generation console talk. They can throw their hat in and say, hey, Activision's doing some stuff, right? The next Call of Duty, it's going to be cross-gen. We're going to have it for PS5. We're going to have it for Series X, but it'll also be on PS4 and Xbox One. And then, hey, we got a brand new Crash game, and it's also coming out in the fall, and stuff like that. Man, we've heard rumors of a new Spyro game, so they could say, hey, not only are we remaking Crash Bash, not only are we doing a new Crash game, we're also doing a brand new Spyro game, too. So really, hey, they're looking really good. The past couple years of their remakes has really, I think, done very well for them because they've sold extremely well. They've been received extremely well. It's reignited, in Spyro's case, the actual name of the game. But just in general, it's reignited the fan base's passion for these properties, and we've all fallen back in love with it, right? More people, I think, are playing Team Racing than ever before. People are more into Spyro and Crash than they were 5 years ago. And now we're in a situation where it's like, you got us. We can keep buying. We will keep buying your other remakes that you want to do because this, again, they're still kind of niche. They've done the biggest ones now. Now, if you do a Crash Bash, yeah, maybe you won't make as much money as you made with the other ones, but you're still going to service some of your fan base, and you're still going to make people happy. So I feel like that is still... I know I'm going with Crash Bash, but you're going to do something there. And then also a brand new Crash game, obviously I think more people will sign up for a new Crash game than another remake, and that's why, again, I think that's coming. That's the first one to come out. And again, I feel like we're going to get something by E3 at the absolute latest. So guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Do you think a new Crash game is coming out this year? When do you think we'll see it? Or do you think a remake is coming first? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube channel, Podcast Now. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And thank you so much for watching. I'll be covering more Crash as the weeks and months go on. And once we get new information on a new Crash game, or once it gets announced, whatever it happens to be, I will absolutely cover it. Okay, so thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you on the next video.